Hello everyone, in this video we have the system of equations and we have to find the values of x and y. But before we begin, if you're new on my channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also like the video. Without further ado, let's begin. So with this first equation, we're going to make y the subject so that we get y is equal to 1 minus x. Now let's replace this y here by 1 minus x. So the second equation right here now becomes x to the fifth power plus 1 minus x all to the fifth power is equal to 31. Let's go ahead and then use Pascal's triangle to expand this term right here. So we're going to have x to the fifth power, which is the first term, then plus, expanding this, we will have 1 minus 5x plus 10x squared minus 10x to the third power plus 5x to the fourth power minus x to the fifth power is equal to 31. And if you look at it very carefully, you can see that this x to the fifth power will cancel this one. Now let's equate everything to 0. I'm going to write those with the highest powers first. So we have 5x to the fourth power followed by minus 10x to the third power plus 10x to the second power minus 5x plus 1 over here. Then we are going to move this 31 to the left and equate everything to 0. But because we have plus 1 here, it will reduce this one by 1. So we're going to have negative 30 right here, and this is equal to 0. Let's go ahead and then divide this equation by 5. And if we do that, we have x to the fourth power minus 2x to the third power plus 2x to the second power minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. Then from here, what we have to do is to test and see whether we will get a factor and then divide. But if we assume that x is equal to 1, let's see whether this will make the equation 0. If x is equal to 1, we will have 1 minus 2, then plus 2 minus 1. This will not be equal to 0. Now let's test and see whether x equal to 2 will make the equation equal to 0. We're going to have 2 to the fourth power minus 2 times 2 to the third power plus 2 times 2 to the second power minus 2 minus 6. Let's see whether this will be 0. We have 16 minus 16 here. Then we have positive 8 minus this, and this will give us negative 8. And of course, we see that this is equal to 0. So we can just say that x minus 2 is a factor of this equation right here. So what we're going to do is to divide the equation by the factor, which is x minus 2, just like that. The equation, we have x to the fourth power minus 2x to the third power plus 2x to the second power minus x minus 6. I'm going to leave it for you to do it, but if you do it correctly, we are going to be getting this factor again, x to the third power plus 2x plus 3. If you do it correctly, this is what you are going to get. So in all, we're going to have two factors multiplying. One of them is x minus 2, then the other is x to the third power plus 2x plus 3, and this is equal to 0. At this point, we can say that x minus 2 is 0, or x to the third power plus 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. And straight away from here, we have x is equal to 2 as one of the solutions. Then let's come to this equation. How can we solve this cubic equation? Should we use formula to solve this? No. Let's use this trick right here. We are going to introduce 0 to this equation, but with this 0, I'm going to write it as x to the second power minus x to the second power. This is 0, right? Then the next step, I'm going to write this 2x as minus x plus 3x. Then we have our plus 3 here, so I'm going to have to bring it, and this is equal to 0. Then the next step, I'm going to group them into 3 terms. First, like this. With this first term, we can take x to the second power out and we are left with x plus 1. Then with this second term, we can take minus x out and we are left with x plus 1. Then the third term, we can take 3 out and we are left with x plus 1. And this is equal to 0. Looking at this equation, you can see that x plus 1 is common, so let's take it out. And the inside, we are left with x to the second power minus x plus 3 is equal to 0. Just like we did before, we can say that x plus 1 is equal to 0 and x is equal to negative 1 as one of the solutions. Then with this equation, we have x to the second power minus x plus 3 is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation, but unfortunately, we can't use factoring method to solve. So what we're gonna do is, should we use the quadratic formula? No, we are tired using that. So let's use the method of completing the squares to solve this one. So with this one, we have x to the second power minus x is equal to, let's move this 3 to the right so that we get negative 3 right here. Then we will take the coefficient of x, which is negative 1. Then we have to multiply the negative 1 by 1/2 and then square the results that we get. And you see that we'll be getting 1/4. Then with this 1/4, we're going to add it to each side of the equation. So we have 1/4 right here. Then we see that on the left hand side, we have a perfect square, which is x minus 1/2 all squared is equal to, now if we simplify this, we're going to get negative 11 divided by 4. The next step, we are going to take square root on each side of the equation, but always we have to bring the plus or minus, and this, and then the square root will go, and we are left with x is equal to, now let's transpose this negative 1/2 so that we get positive 1/2 on the right, then plus or minus. We can write this as square root of negative 11, which of course is 11i divided by square root of 4, which is 2. And we can combine this as x is equal to 1 plus or minus 11i all divided by 2. So these are the two complex solutions that we have, just like that. The next thing we are going to do is, since we know x is equal to 2, x is equal to negative 1, as well as x is equal to this, what is y? Remember, initially we let y equal to 1 minus x. So when x is equal to negative 1, we have 1 minus minus 1, which is equal to 2. Then when x is equal to 2, we're going to have 1 minus 2, which is equal to negative 1. And the last part, when x is equal to the whole of this, we're going to be getting 1 minus 1 plus or minus 11i divided by 2. And we see that we'll still be getting y is equal to 1 plus or minus 11i divided by 2. So ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty much it. I hope you found this video useful. Subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment, and share. See you again on the next video. Take care. Bye bye.